Hello, I'm Charles Garrett. I'd like to welcome you to the exciting world of weekend prospecting. After you see this video presentation that was taped in the beautiful northwestern United States, I'm sure you will agree there's absolutely no mystery to prospecting for gold. The weekend prospectors you'll meet in the video offer basic guidelines you can follow to find your share of gold and wealth. But always remember that wealth is only one reason to search for gold. Prospecting is an outdoor activity you can enjoy with family or friends. It combines adventure and physical exercise with monetary profit and the satisfaction of being successful. Look at this gold. This rich placer this vein material and even this gigantic, extremely valuable gold nugget all were found by weekend prospectors, like those you'll see in this video. We used easily mastered techniques and basic equipment such as the relatively inexpensive gold pan and metal detectors. Gold is being found all over the world. The supply is unlimited. The precious metal can be found in almost any of the 50 states and in most countries. You can discover gold nuggets with a metal detector or find placer gold with a pan or dredge. Now, let's sit back and enjoy the great outdoors as we travel to the Northwest for an outdoor adventure and learn how simple it is to find gold when you join the world of weekend prospecting.
Let's begin our expedition into the gold country by introducing our weekend prospectors. Roy Lagle, Virgil Hutton, Tommy Long, and Charles Garrett. Located throughout the world are waterways and dry deserts where gold can be found. The weekend prospector should begin by prospecting known mineral-producing areas. It is there that gold is most likely to be found. Productive sites are spotted by observing where others search for the precious metal. These prospectors are using dredging equipment to recover gold from this stream bed. Campgrounds abound in most gold areas. Thousands of acres of public land are open to those who want to spend their weekends and vacations searching for the Earth's mineral wealth. But there are other forms of wealth which recreationists discover. The beauty of nature offers great enjoyment to those who seek it. As soon as camp is made, all equipment is checked and made ready for the task at hand. Basic equipment needed for weekend prospecting includes a small gravity trap finishing pan, a professional gravity trap gold pan, and a classifier, a gold suction bottle for retrieving gold from your pan, a container for keeping your concentrates, a heavy-duty shovel, a large pry bar, small pry bar, rock hammer, crevicing tool, tweezers, sample bottle, a ground balancing metal detector properly calibrated for prospecting, ore bags, sneakers for wading or rubber boots, snorkel and face mask, and a lightweight portable gold dredge. When water is available, wet panning for gold is fast and efficient. Even though early-day prospectors may have worked a particular stream, gold continually replenishes itself. Sand, rock, and heavier elements are often in a perpetual state of motion, especially during times of high water caused by flooding or the melting of heavy snow. Because of the heavier nature of gold, it is often trapped at certain points along waterways. Gold can become trapped in moss, grass, and other vegetation. These plant systems form natural sluice traps that can be worked year after year after waters rise and then return to their normal level. As water continues its eternal downstream flow, there are many other traps where gold can become lodged. Large boulders are perfect obstructions that often create pockets where gold can be found. As water breaks over and around obstructions, the slowing water and resulting eddies cause heavier elements to become trapped, forming natural treasure pockets. While Virgil was walking along the embankment, he spotted moss growing on this large rock. He has begun to scrape the boulder, loosening the vegetation. Being careful not to shake loose any dirt, he places all the moss, soil, and clay in the pan. He fills the pan with water to begin the gold recovery process. As he thoroughly cleans the moss and dissolves all clay, he makes certain not to lose any gold. Roy decided to check for placer gold downside of the large boulder. The term placer is used to describe natural accumulations of gold and other heavier elements. After shoveling material into the classifier, which is placed atop the gold pan, he grasps them firmly and begins a twisting motion beneath the water. The smaller material, including gold, passes through and settles in the pan. Before discarding the classifier contents, he checks for large nuggets and clay balls, which could conceal gold. The continuous motion of the pan while the contents are kept submerged causes the heavier materials to settle to the bottom. There is no one best way to pan. Each individual must develop his or her own panning motion or style. As the contents are agitated, Occasionally, tip the pan forward to permit water to carry off lighter material. Gradually, the heavier elements will become concentrated in the bottom of the pan. Now don't worry about losing gold. If you have thoroughly loosened the material and kept it agitated, the patented 90-degree riffles will trap the gold to prevent its flowing off the edge. As the riffles fill, occasionally tilt the pan backwards, letting the water wash the material back into the pan. Discard rocks as they move to the top of the concentrate. Transfer contents of the larger pan to the smaller finishing pan if a large amount of black sand is present. The finishing pan also has 90-degree riffles which facilitate rapid separation of the material. This permits the black sand to wash on off, leaving gold trapped in the riffles. The sluice traps in nature's waterways may contain not only gold, but another heavy element prospectors call black sand. This is actually magnetic iron that is oxidized into a black, grainy, sand-like form. Being heavy, it tends to become trapped with gold. Since there is usually considerably more black sand than gold, prospectors search for black sand concentrations because they know gold can also be present. You'll notice that Roy is now using the side of the pan. The longer, sloping, rough-textured sides also facilitate black sand removal. Now that Roy has panned out the worthless material, it is time to retrieve the gold. Tweezers can be used to remove larger pieces, and the gold suction bottle to vacuum up fine gold. Suction pulls the gold into the bottle. A specially built nozzle prevents gold from being ejected from the bottle each time it is squeezed. After all the gold has been removed from the pan, any remaining black sand can be discarded or saved for later milling and further classification at camp or at home. Even though the gold pan is a practically indispensable tool and is used in every phase of weekend prospecting, a surface suction dredge is the best equipment for successfully recovering gold from beneath the waterways, such as this stream location where the prospects appear good for gold recovery. Two-inch to 4-inch size dredges are best suited for the weekend prospector because properly designed units are very efficient and can be easily transported. The larger the dredge, the more material that can be worked, but the heavier and more cumbersome the dredge will be.
We're ready there.
This dredge is a 2-inch backpacker and is lightweight and easy to transport even long distances over rough terrain. It is quite adaptable to a one-man operation. This particular model is gasoline engine powered and equipped with 2 types of nozzles, power jet and suction. The men will use both types. This site was selected because of the abrupt change in water direction and because the large rocks form a perfect gold trap. A surface suction dredge is so called because it floats on the water's surface. Charles prepares to operate the dredge while Tommy mans the power jet nozzle. With the intake foot valve, suction hose, and nozzle in position underwater, a quick pull of the cord starts operations. Immediately, vacuum is created, causing a good water flow across the sluice box. Because the power jet nozzle creates maximum suction, the greatest amount of material can be removed from the stream bed in a given period of time. The nozzle is grasped and maneuvered with one hand, while the other hand helps control the amount and type of material being fed into the intake. A steady, uniform stream of water should flow over the sluice box. After the sluice box has filled to a satisfactory level, the contents should be emptied into a gold pan or into a bucket for later panning. These fellas have hit the jackpot. The bottom of this stream bed must have been paved with gold. It's cleanup time. Tommy loosens the bracket and slides the riffle tray from the dredge. This two-piece riffle tray facilitates cleaning. It is very important to thoroughly clean the riffles and the tray, washing all sand, gravel, and gold into the container. Since gold can become trapped in mud and clay, it is necessary to thoroughly clean the dredge base to prevent any gold from being lost. The carpet mat, which is placed below the riffles as an aid in trapping gold, should be carefully cleaned. Now that Virgil has poured all contents into the classifier, he cleans the material, dissolving all mud and clay. He discards this material only after he has assured himself that there are no gold nuggets present. Now, standard panning techniques will be utilized to recover the gold. You'll notice that Virgil keeps the contents fully submerged in water. The continuous agitation of the gold pan ensures that the material is kept loose so that heavier elements can sink to the bottom. As the pan is gently rocked and tilted forward, the lighter rocks and sand flow off the edge of the pan. No gold is lost as the 90-degree riffles do their job. Gold is retained in the pan. You'll notice that as the riffles begin to fill, Virgil tips the pan backwards. This backward motion allows the water to return all contents again to the pan center, which concentrates the gold in the bottom of the pan. Slowly and methodically and safely, Virgil works the lighter material over the pan's edge. This 90-degree riffle design and the pan's forest green color have proven their efficiency in the field time and again. The gravity trap pan is the world's most used and copied gold pan. The plastic is almost indestructible and, unlike metal pans, does not transfer the cold temperature of the water to hands that hold the pan. Look at all that gold. What a bonanza. The joyous rewards of a successful day's work. The joy of weekend prospecting. In gold country, there are many streams that contain only a minute amount of water. Some have water only during spring runoff. Shallow water necessitates the use of the suction nozzle intake, which continues to operate even when lifted from the water. Many shallow streams in gold country were not worked thoroughly by the early prospectors. Today's weekend prospectors, using correct equipment, can sometimes recover large quantities of gold from such areas. Gold nugget hunting is one of the most popular weekend prospecting activities. Nuggets and rich ore specimens can be found not only in dry areas, but in waterways where they are deposited by natural erosion. When searching in the water, a sensitive ground-canceling metal detector is necessary. Always follow the ground-canceling recommendations of the detector's manufacturer. Whenever a signal is received indicating the presence of a metal target, the material is scooped from the bottom and placed into the plastic pan. This prevents nuggets from being dislodged and falling deeper into the gravel bottom. The material is then carefully examined to determine if it is a nugget or a metallic object lost either by some early day prospector or a more recent visitor. Careful scanning with the search coil hovering over the bottom and around large boulders will ensure that all nuggets, both large and small, are detected. Smaller diameter search coils are sometimes used in areas that are so rocky that larger search coils cannot be maneuvered. The use of headphones is a must and is a mark of the true professional treasure hunter. Headphones greatly enhance detector signals and block such outside noises as those created by fast-moving water. Success in the field depends largely upon the capability, sensitivity, ease of operation, and field reliability of the detection equipment being used. The master hunter, proven by millions of hours of field use, is the weekend prospector's choice of metal detectors. Time for a lunch break to discuss the successes of the morning and plans for the afternoon's prospecting. In gold country, there are often many areas where the weekend prospector can search for and recover gold. The men are heading toward a river that was dredged for gold years ago. There'll be electronic prospecting on huge piles of rock brought up from the river's bottom and discarded along the embankment. In early days, entire river valleys were dredged by big commercial operators. Mammoth dredges ripped up gravel down to bedrock and discharged the larger pieces into these piles of tailings. While most of this material is worthless, often very large nuggets and even smaller gold concealed in clay or mud balls was unknowingly discarded along with the rocks. When a target is detected, care must be taken in its removal. If dislodged, it could easily fall deeper in the pile. Receiving a detector signal, Virgil has scooped up a pan full of rocks and is examining them.
Hot dog, how about that? All right. Hey, Charles, get a load of this.
Hey, Virgil, that's the way to hunt.
Metal detectors that are properly designed for electronic prospecting have target discrimination that distinguishes gold nuggets from worthless minerals. The Garrett Master Hunter is one such instrument. Looks like Charles and his Master Hunter have found something concealed in the rocks. Checking with his detector, he pinpoints its location. Raking aside the rocks, he exposes and removes the target. Another beautiful gold nugget.
Hey, Virgil, look here. Right on top.
Let me see it, Charles. That's a beauty. That is really a beauty.
Now, it's off to search another area and to apply the principles of weekend prospecting. The men resist the temptation to stop and pan for gold along the embankment, or to join these hardy travelers on their whitewater adventures. Coming up soon is a large-scale gold recovery operation. At this location, the weekend prospectors will be seeking the precious shiny metal through field searching and electronic prospecting. Throughout gold country, old stream beds and ancient river channels can be found that have been dry for thousands of years. When water was coursing through them, placer gold deposits often accumulated. Prospectors have learned to spot these potentially rich sites and to examine them for precious metal. The wall of rock and gravel on the left holds special interest for Roy. This is a section of an ancient riverbed that recently, comparatively speaking, has eroded and become exposed by weathering and other forces of nature. As Roy scans the area, he asks himself where the gold should be. He has fastened his attention on the large rock near the center of the screen. He knows that at some time during the ancient past, this rock was lying on the very bottom of the riverbed. The downstream side of this rock may have formed a perfect natural trap where black sand minerals and gold consolidated. Roy begins his investigation. Careful detector scanning reveals the presence of a mineral deposit worth further investigation. Again, the gold pan comes into play as Roy dislodges and gathers material from the spot where the detector said dig. This method of examining for gold is often called sniping. If paying quantities of gold are found, a further investigation of the site will be made. Now comes the time-consuming but often highly rewarding job of dry panning for gold. Notice that the same techniques are followed that were used with wet panning. Roy first removes the larger rocks and shakes the pan to settle the heavier gold down to the bottom. Notice how he gives the pan firm bumps and gradually spills more and more of the lighter sand and rock over the edge. Don't worry, he won't lose any gold. Gold has a high specific gravity. That means it is very heavy and will work its way to the bottom where it remains or becomes trapped in the riffles. The bumping action, which prospectors call jigging, can actually kick the gold to the back of the pan. When water is available, wet panning is faster and more proficient. But many grub stakes have been found through dry panning, and prospectors should never pass up an opportunity to see if the earth can be coerced to reveal another of its secret gold catches. Semi-precious stones such as garnets and sapphires can also be found using the dry washing process, because they too have higher specific gravities. The gold is becoming firmly trapped in the riffles. Now he looks closely at what he's found. Seems a little more panning is required. Remember, to dry pan efficiently, the material must be completely dry. Even a trace of moisture prevents the sand from loosening properly to let gold settle to the pan's bottom. When a prospector locates a potentially good area but finds sand wet, he may carry a few gallons of water to the site to conduct a wet panning operation. See the heavy material collect in the riffles and remain in the pan? That's why the gravity trap is the world's most efficient gold pan. Finally comes a use for those tweezers you might have wondered about. Roy carefully places the little bits of gold into a collection bottle. More success for the weekend prospectors. Another location that should be thoroughly investigated has been discovered. The prospectors continually discovered wildlife all around them as they tramped through the wild country. Field searching for open face cuts where vein structures can be visually spotted often proves rewarding for the weekend prospector. Veins can be located alongside roads and highways. During your exploration of gold country, you'll find that nature has done much of your work for you by displacing accumulated overburden exposing bedrock. Thorough investigation of vein structures should be performed promptly, since they often contain clues you're looking for. From the road, Roy and Virgil spotted these large quartz veins. Usually, veins such as these are barren of mineral value, but the men were quick to see signs of oxidation. Such veins should be checked electronically. Using a small search coil, Roy scans suspect areas to determine if conductive elements are present. Right there, he says. It sounds promising. Virgil breaks away the section, collecting it in his gold pan. Listen as the detector gives an alert. No response to the smaller pieces. The small coil has precisely pinpointed the conductive portion of ore that caused the detector to respond. This interesting specimen is saved for later evaluation. Into the ore bag it goes. The next stop for Virgil and Roy is an old mine. These can offer a real bonanza for the electronic prospector. Miners have completed the hard work. They removed tons of rock in an effort to expose veins of precious metal. But they lack today's modern tools.
This is one of the ancient mines where the vein structure went in, and it was followed here by the old miners. And this was a stope that they drove up following in here. And they didn't have electronic equipment, so consequently, the many times that they missed. Oh, here's a slight reading right here, but I'll better double check it. Yeah, check it again, the rock here. Now, let's see here. Yeah, right there, Bert. This thing right here is a reading here.
Out there.
Yeah.
Placing the detector in a stationary position, the men now evaluate their samples. Notice how Roy moves the pieces across the face of the search coil? A detector signal indicates conductive metal is present, and the ore bag grows fuller. Actually, they're using several bags. It's important to keep samples separated so you'll know exactly where they came from. By calling upon your newly acquired knowledge of weekend prospecting, you should be able to spot the smooth, rounded rocks that reveal this wall was once a portion of a glacial deposit or an ancient alluvial but now dry riverbed. Look carefully and you'll see the darkened section that caught Virgil's eye. The black sand accumulation might contain placer gold. A sample is collected for later panning back at camp. Now it's time to electronically scan these twin drifts. Older mining methods included drifting tunnels at bedrock level in hopes of discovering rich placer gold concentrations. Because visual spotting was the only method early day miners could use to locate nuggets, and electronic survey of these tunnels could produce great rewards. A thorough investigation of the walls, floor, and ceiling is easily accomplished with a sensitive metal detector. In just a few hours, you can electronically scan the yardage it would have taken miners days to search just a few decades ago. As Roy continues his investigation, the weekend prospector should be warned of dangers always present in mines and tunnels, new as well as old. They should never be entered alone. Often, mines contain deadly gases, unstable explosives, rotted shoring, and fractured rock structures. Just a spark or slight vibration could cause a disaster. You should always be accompanied by an experienced professional when dealing with mines. The detector gives a strong alert. Roy investigates. Using a rock hammer, Roy breaks away the material, catching it in the gold pan. If nuggets fell into the debris on the floor, they would be more difficult to locate. A strong signal in the tunnel walls of such ancient glacial or riverbed deposits almost surely means precious metal has been discovered. gold nugget sees light for the first time in perhaps millions of years. What a lovely piece of nature's handiwork. A 1-ounce gold nugget. Isn't it beautiful? Can't you just imagine it as the center of a striking gold nugget necklace? What a find. What a truly marvelous way to end an expedition of weekend prospecting.
Wasn't that great? I hope you enjoyed the scenery, the search for gold, and the excitement of recovery as much as I enjoyed it when we taped Weekend Prospecting in the Great Northwest. I love the gold country and return there often. Just being outdoors is reward enough. But as you saw, there are more substantial rewards. And believe me, few experiences can compare with the thrill of discovering gold. With today's modern technology, you can find your share of this wealth. This book, Weekend Prospecting, explains in detail how you can be successful in the gold country. The book was the basis for this video, and it fully describes all the techniques and the equipment you just saw in operation. The Gravity Trap Gold Panning Kit contains all the items you need for successful gold recovery. You can pan for gold just like the old-time prospectors. Actually, modern equipment will make panning a lot easier for you than it was for the old-timers. Also, as the video reminded us, they didn't have today's modern electronic tools. Tools like this computerized Master Hunter metal detector. Field-proven equipment of advanced design, such as this all-purpose detector and the Gravity Trap Gold Pan, will prove invaluable in your search. Use proper equipment and tried and proven methods, and your chances of finding gold will increase dramatically. If you have that sparkle of gold in your eye, I encourage you to pursue your golden dream. Thousands of individuals and families have been successful, and you too can find gold. Read the book, Weekend Prospecting, get a gold panning kit, and join us in this fascinating and rewarding hobby. Remember, more gold remains in the ground than has ever been taken out. Your weekends or vacations will provide the time. All you need is the desire to get started. Gold awaits you. Go for it. And who knows, I may see you in the field.